Welcome back to the Chicago White Sox draft-only franchise. We've reached our first offseason, as you can see right here on the screen. Playoff bracket, complete playoff bracket. And you see the Red Sox beat the Brewers 4-3 in the World Series. Jump ahead and take a look at the awards. Tristan Casas was the World Series MVP. Rafael Devers was the American League Playoff MVP, and William Contreras was National League. And let's hop through the other guys real quick. Run through all the other award winners. Shohei Ohtani, National League MVP. Aaron Judge on the American League side. Look at that, 59 home runs. Cy Young goes to Ohtani, 15-10. Had a 4.08 ERA, but 250 strikeouts. And you know how much this game loves strikeouts. Anytime there's a close race, they're going to go with the guy with the most strikeouts. And Yusei Kikuchi, 21 wins for the Astros on the American League side. My goodness. All right, Carlos Correa wins the batting title for the AL. Acuna hit .364 for the National League. Reliever of the Year, David Bednar. Clay Holmes. Rookie of the Year goes to Wyatt Langford, 29 home runs. James Wood wins it on the National League side, beats out a Paul Skeens 14-9 season with a 2.96 ERA. That's pretty impressive. Hank Aaron goes to Acuna and Judge. American League Gold Glove, Joey Estes. National League Skeens. Bailey, a catcher. Kirk. Lowe. Christian Walker. Second base, Rogers and Jimenez. Garcia, Machado at third. Kim and Caballero at short. Langford, Wood in left. Doyle and Rodriguez in right. Doyle and Rodriguez in center. Abreu and Fraley in right. Silver Slugger goes to Ohtani at DH. And Giancarlo Stanton. Nice bounce back for him with 38 bombs. Cal Raleigh and William Contreras. Wilson came in second. 38 home runs for Wilson, my goodness. Vladdy at first base. And Rhys Hoskins in the National League. Marte and Lau. Jose Ramirez and Mark Vientos. Frankie Lindor and Gunnar Henderson. Aaron Judge, Acuna, Tatis, Rooker, Santander, and Teoscar. All right, that's a quick rundown of the postseason. Complete bracket for both leagues. Award winners, National League and American League, and postseason MVP, playoff MVP, World Series MVP. So that means we have to go in here and drop all of these 40-man roster players, get this team prepared for the Rule 5 draft. And after I'm done dropping all these players, we'll go over some of the undrafted free agents and see if there's any of those guys that we can add to the roster, backfill our lower level minor leagues, and prepare for the Rule 5 draft. We'll take a quick peek at some of the players that retired. Kenta Maeda, Carlos Carrasco, Yuli Gurriel, Justin Verlander retired. Max Scherzer retired. See if either one or both of those guys get into the Hall of Fame. Yasmani Grandal, Lance Lynn, Jose Abreu, and Verlander and Scherzer both get elected to the Hall of Fame, so good for them. You never know. With this game, sometimes players who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame do not get inducted, so glad to see both of them got in. And now it's time to fire all of our bench coaches and manager. We kept these guys around because they were a drag on the MLB team, all those negative numbers. So we're going to quickly fire every one of these guys and build us a new coaching staff. All right, and we got almost everybody we wanted that we put offers in for the coaching staff. Had to replace, I think, the hitting coach and maybe the pitching coach. But we got Omar Hernandez here. Gives +3 power, +1 clutch, 1 stamina, lose 1 on the arm accuracy. Had to give him a lot of money to do it. Tariq Brock, another guy, good vision, clutch, and contact. Keys helps the velocity, hits per 9, Ks per 9. Navoa helps with speed, fielding, durability. Snitker, speed, arm strength. And Farm Director gives us +3 speed, +3 power. Don't really care about the +3 drag bunt, but the +3 speed and power are really huge. All right, I've already gone in and offered all these guys contracts, all the renewable players. So hopefully they'll all sign really soon. And we have these 4 guys that are up for arbitration. Just going to give them 1-year deals, except for Chavez. We'll add him a 2-year deal. He was up in AAA last year. We didn't get to see him very much. I wanted him to play up so we could see what Elko would do. We'll see if we can get these guys back without having to go arbitration. And I've gone in and offered contracts to these undrafted free agents. We may end up cutting one or two if we kind of oversign, but hopefully we can backfill, get some younger talent in here that's cheap, especially in the bullpen, and that will help us bridge the gap until we can get some players drafted. And we were able to sign all of those undrafted free agents that we offered contracts. And we get our first big closing of the offseason. The Pirates signed Jeff Hoffman to be their closer, 3 years at $25.8 million. And Juan Soto signs an 8-year, $193.6 million deal to go play for the Marlins. Great city, crappy team. Wow. Now we've reached the baseball winter meetings. It's going to be draft lottery day. See where we end up in the order. We were tied for the 4th worst record, so let's hop in here and see what it says. Yes, White Sox, Rockies, and Giants all had 69 wins. We're sitting in the 4th spot. I'll be glad if we could stay there or possibly move up. So let's see what happens when we simulate ahead. Boom, there we go. Hopped up to the number 2 pick. Looks like we traded spots with the A's. So the White Sox are going to be picking 2nd overall. Hopefully we'll get a really good position player since we got a number of pitchers in the last draft, but we'll have to check that out once we get into April and start scouting these players. But there we go. Hopped up to number 2, the first draft after we cut all of our players. So this should be exciting. All right, we've reached the Rule 5 draft time. This is where we get to pick a whole new 26-man MLB roster to replace all the guys that we released. And we will try to find some gems in here, some guys that can be with us for 2, 3, 4 years down the road. Other guys are just going to be placeholders. Let's take a look at the rules for the Rule 5 draft in case you guys aren't aware of what kind of draft that is. A Rule 5 draft allows clubs without a full 40-man roster, which right now we only have 3 guys, to select certain non-40-man roster players from other clubs. Clubs draft in reverse order of the standings from the previous season. Players signed at age 18 or younger need to be added to the club's 40-man roster within 5 seasons or they become eligible for the Rule 5 draft. Players signed at 19 or older need to be protected within 4 seasons. Rule 5 draft picks are assigned directly to the drafting club's 26-man roster and must be placed on outright waivers in order to be removed from the 26-man roster in subsequent season. Should the player clear waivers, he must be offered back to his previous team for $50,000 and can be outrighted to the minors only if the original club does not wish to reacquire him. Rule 5 draft picks can be placed on the Major League injured list, but they must be active for a minimum of 90 days to avoid being subject to the aforementioned roster restrictions in the next campaign. And clubs may trade a player selected in the Rule 5 draft, but the same restrictions apply to the player's new organization. However, a club may also work out a trade with the Rule 5 pick's original club to acquire his full rights, thereby allowing him to be optioned to the minors under traditional circumstances. That is the Major League Rule 5 draft rules. MLB The Show doesn't quite work exactly that same way. 1, you don't have to give up any money for them. And 2, there's no way for us to trade those players or make a trade with the original team to get the full rights to the Rule 5 player that you picked. So you're kind of limited there. They're just stuck basically on your MLB roster for the entire season. There are some famous Rule 5 picks. Hall of Famers, Christy Mathewson, Hack Wilson, and Roberto Clemente. Also other ones that are well known, Jose Bautista, George Bell, Bobby Bonilla, Nestor Cortez, Josh Hamilton, Johan Santana. As you can see on down the list. And some of the recent Rule 5 picks, Anthony Santander, Trevor Stephan, Garrett Whitlock, Akil Baddoo, Ryan Noda, Ryan Fernandez, and Mitch Spence. So if you weren't aware that they were Rule 5 picks, now you are. Now that we have the rules out of the way, let's hop right in and get this thing started. All right, we're ready to get going. Right now we are sitting with the 4th pick. So we really only need to worry about the Angels, A's, and Marlins taking somebody we might be interested in with our first pick. Teams can continue picking as long as they like. We're definitely going to be picking for a while. We have 26 players that we have to select. We'll be taking 5 starting pitchers, 7 relievers, 1 closer, which could be an actual closer or just a reliever that we change their position to later, 2 catchers, I'm going to take 2 first base, 1 third base, 2 second base, 1 shortstop, 1 left fielder, 2 center fielders, and 2 right fielders based on our depth chart and what I like to carry on the roster. So that is the plan. So let's get this thing started and see who our first pick is. You can see Brock Jones went. Might be interested in him. He had decent hitting stats. See potential at 24 though. Mike Vassell, really wasn't going to be interested in him too much. I mean, he is 70 overall, so that would have been nice. Good velocity, good strikeouts per 9, but yeah, whatever. So let's get in here and make our first pick, and we're going to go look at starting pitcher first, and hopefully somebody decent. I already see a couple of guys I'm interested in right off the rip. Let's look at the other ones real quick. Relievers, there's a B down here. Cody Hewer, Stephen Kolek, Jonathan Hernandez. Pretty good chance we'll be taking those 3, maybe even Ronnie Henriquez. Brooks Raley I will not take because he's 36 years old. We don't take Luke Little or Jason Briel. We might take one of the other relievers and move him over. Catcher, there is a C potential guy, doesn't hit that great. So probably going to take a veteran guy or 2 and just try to find somebody down the road. Well, we do have Edgar Caro, so he might be ready sooner than later. Ward and Melendez have some good power. Sabato does as well. Evan White, strictly power. Taribo, he's more even keel in his hitting. Second base, Chappelle's on our team already. There's a 24 C potential at 65, both of these guys. There's a 24-year-old. Hey, Tyler Callahan, we just faced him in the AA playoffs. Might be interesting to snag him off the Reds team. Willie Vasquez, good contact, not a whole lot of power, but good speed. Play third base, play something else, second and short, so we could always move him. Shortstop, Juan Brito, really good contact. Can also play second and third and switch hitter, not bad. Koperniak, I've done these drafts before in other franchises off camera. This guy's got one of the highest contact rates sitting out there. He's a Cardinal prospect. Just had a really good season in real life, so pretty good chance we'll take him because we can put him at the top or near the top of the order. Center field, do have a B, but he can't hit for anything. Not a whole lot of high potential guys, mostly on the pitching side. So let's go ahead and get those guys snagged up early so we don't lose them, and we'll come back and look at the position players. And we're going to make Cade Cavalli our first pick. It's pretty even across the board. Good velocity, good break, 26 years old, B potential, so he should only get better. And the Nationals take Cody Hewer. Let's go back to that round. Carson Seymour went to the Rockies. Hewer would have been nice as a reliever, but he's gone. And the Yankees snagged Melendez. Okay, so they took one of the guys who could play first and third and had some pop, so that might alter our plans a little bit. All right, with Cavalli gone, let's go ahead and jump down here and grab this other B potential and Blaine Enlow. He's pretty across the board even. He's not going to be a long-term guy, but he's not going to have any glaring weaknesses. So let's grab Blaine Enlow and add another B potential to our staff. And since no one else is making any picks at this point, it's just us picking players, I'm going to go ahead and just grab all of our starting pitchers right now, and we'll go from there. Overton, low strikeouts and clutch. Really want to get guys with good hits and walks per 9. Wiles is flat. Chase Chaney wouldn't be too bad. 25 years old. McLean's 23. It doesn't have him down as a two-way player, but he's got third, left, center, and right as secondary positions. That's interesting. He's got decent hitting. You know what? Let's take Nolan McLean, and we'll have an extra bat and defensive player if we need one. All right, here in the 4th round, I think we thought Wiles wasn't too bad, so let's go ahead and grab Nathan Wiles as our 4th starting pitcher. All right, now we need to find a left-handed pitcher because we have no left-handed starters. Drohan is the first one we've come across. Let's see if we can find somebody else. Chase Chaney was somebody I might take 6 starters and only 6 relievers instead of 7, and use one of these extra starting pitchers as a long reliever. It's very possible, and that would give us an extra starting pitcher in case of an injury. We could swap them into the rotation. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's take Chase Chaney right now. And we can go ahead and take Shane Drohan as our left-handed starting pitcher, probably 5th starter, and that'll give us 6 guys to work with. All right, now we can hop ahead and start looking at relief pitchers. Try to have some of these guys that are B potential. So let's go ahead and grab Stephen Kolick first. 27 B potential, 66 overall. And we'll take Jose Hernandez as our first left-handed reliever. And we're going to take this 24-year-old B potential, Ronnie Henriquez. He's only a 62 overall, but it means he's going to have at least 18 points to jump up, so that'll give us another long-term reliever that we can develop. And we'll take Luis Patino, 25-year-old C potential, 64 overall. He should have some extra room to grow, at least 15 points, so let's check him out. And we need another left-handed arm for the pen, so let's grab Austin Davis, 32-year-old C potential, 70 overall, and a decent clutch, hits, and strikeouts per 9. And with our next to last pick on the relief pitching side, we'll take right-handed pitcher Andrew Bellotti, 33-year-old C potential, 73. And for our closer, we're going to take Michael Fulmer with his 82 clutch and move him from relief pitcher to closing pitcher. We'll just edit his position, and he will be our new initial closer until Jared Kelly is ready to come up to the majors. And at this point, we're just going to move straight down the list. Catcher, both catchers, first, second, third, short, left, center, right, and then get our bench, which is going to be first, second, center, and right. And the first catcher we're going to take is this 26-year-old C potential, 64 overall, Matthew Nelson. I want to get somebody who's a little bit younger than what you see at the top of the list, and he can serve as our backup behind Caro when he comes up, and give us a good 1-2 punch until the guy we drafted, Sweeney, can develop and get to the major leagues. And that means we're going to take Aramis Garcia, 32-year-old, D potential, 66 overall. It's going to have the best combination of bat and defense. I thought about Reese McGuire, but his glove isn't nearly as good, so we'll just take Aramis Garcia. Now at first base, we're going to make 2 selections here, one to start and one to be a bench player, possible DH guy. I have seen these guys right here. We also have Michael Chavez down in our minors, so we're not totally out of commission there, especially if we get an injury. So let's take Ryan Ward first and then take Toribio second. So Ryan Ward's going to be our starting first baseman. And now we take the other one, Luis Toribio. And now we're going to take 2 players at second base as well. We do have John Kasevich, who's a C. Cade Doughty's a C. Tyler Callahan, as we saw during the playoffs, is a C. He can also play third. Brett Auerbach can also catch, so that might make a difference. He might not have the highest upside, but he's got a lot of position flexibility, which we might need a lot of on the major league side. So let's take Brett Auerbach for our first second baseman. And our second baseman is going to be Josh Kasevich. All right, and third base is going to be really easy. We're going to take the 23-year-old Willie Vasquez. He's got great speed, great defense, and a decent bat, and just not a lot of power. And shortstop's going to be easy choice. Going to take 23-year-old Juan Brito, great speed and defense, and a Pretty good contact hitter, just not a lot of power. All right, and in our left fielder, we're going to go ahead and take Matt Koperniak. Really want to get that 63 contact and 59 power at the top of the order. And the first of our two center fielders is going to be Jeremy De La Rosa. And our second center fielder is going to be Colby Thomas. And the first of our two right field picks is going to be Gabriel Rincones Jr. And the last pick of the Rule 5 draft is going to be Andrew Pinckney. We're going to move him to right field, even though he says he's a left fielder. And that will round out our Rule 5 draft. All right, let's go take a quick look at the entire 40-man roster. That would include all of the 26 players that we just drafted, plus Davey Garcia, who we had to put on the 40-man roster so he wouldn't be taken in the Rule 5 draft, as well as Sean Burke, who we saw last year in AA, and Jordan Sprinkle, who was also in AA. So we have 3 extra guys that can get called up immediately without having to be put on the 40-man roster in case of injury or whatever. As you can see, got these sorted by overall. So Andrew Bellotti, 33-year-old relief pitcher, is going to be our highest rated player on the team, followed by Michael Fulmer, who I just moved to closer, and that actually jumped up his overall. He was listed as a 69 as a straight reliever, and he's a 71 as a closer. Austin Davis, a reliever. There's Davey Garcia, who we know from last year. Drone, starting pitcher, who we actually going to make him a long reliever. No, not him. Chase Chaney. So Drone's going to be in the rotation because he's a lefty. And then Chase Chaney is going to be one of our long relievers. Then we got Hernandez and Wiles. Got a bunch of pitchers up here. Ryan Ward, our highest rated hitter. Probably has our highest power from either side of the plate as well. Rincones, Auerbach, Brito. Aramis Garcia is going to be our starting catcher for now. Koperniak, he's going to be hitting either 1 or 2 or 3. Kind of depends on how we get this lineup set up. Vasquez will be starting at third. De La Rosa is probably going to be starting against right-hand pitching in center field. And then it rounds out the rest of the 40-man roster. Right now, we have 29 guys, so we have plenty of room. We have 11, and I actually need to cut 1 player on this roster because we're over. And I will do that off camera and be right back. All right, and I cut 29-year-old starting pitcher Corey Abbott. He was a D potential guy, so that removes him completely. We're good. We have 93 guys on the roster. As you can see in the right-hand corner, we'll go over the breakdown of each position. Catchers, I like to carry 7 catchers, 2 at each level, and then we have an extra 1 in case of injury. I like to carry 6 at first and third, second and short, and all 3 outfield spots. And that would give us essentially 2 at each level, although they're not going to have enough room to have 2 at every level. Some of those will be down in single A ball. And then on the major league level, we'll have 6 starting pitchers, 6 relievers, with one of those 6 starters being the long man and then 1 closer. And then I will go in and edit our depth charts for the AA and AAA teams, and we will end up with 5 starters in AAA, 5 starters in AA, with 7 relievers at each level. And then however we want to set up the position players at each level. And I'll get all of that done, and I will show you that at the beginning of the season. Okay, 2 of the players that we took in the Rule 5 draft are arbitration eligible here, so we're going to go in here and try to get them signed with just a regular contract. He's 32, we'll just give him 1 year. Same thing here, we'll just give him 1 year. And as we advance, we'll see if they sign with us. And then if any other big name players sign as free agents, we will hop back in and show that to you and get through this and get ready all the way up to spring training. And as you can see at the top there, both Austin Davis and Aramis Garcia took their contract offers, so we avoided arbitration on both of them. And Tyler O'Neill signs with the LA Angels for 5 years, $58 million. And there was a couple of trades in here too. The Rays traded closer Pete Fairbanks to the Marlins for one of their top starting pitching prospects, Noble Meyer. That's a head scratcher. And the Mets got Brandon Lau from the Rays for Colin Houck and Alex Ramirez. Looks like the Rays are selling off a little bit, selling some of their veterans. Cardinals traded Lars Nootbaar to the Mets for Brandon Sproat. Red Sox traded Masataka Yoshida to the Reds for Nick Martinez. And Max Fried signs a 4-year, $44.4 million deal with the Padres. Corbin Burns, 4 years, $54.8 million to the Red Sox. And we've made it to the end of the offseason. Once I advance this next day, we'll be to spring training. So not going to show any of that. We're going to jump right into opening day with our brand new revamped Chicago White Sox MLB roster in the very next episode. So make sure you catch that. And if you like the series so far, make sure you hit like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you know when the new videos come out. And I will see you next time on the Chicago White Sox Draft Only Franchise.